Hey guys, welcome to the MOV podcast by Guch. Today is episode 14, and uh, I think I really wanted to bring this guest on for a while. I've been following his LinkedIn and I've followed his journey with the brand that he is at right now, and I mean, they're doing something really unique. And instead of me doing the introductions and telling you a lot more about the uh, guest and the brand that he represents, I would rather bring him on and then do the introductions after that. So let me add to the stream. Please welcome Michael from Shleep. Hey,
Good
Michael.
morning. Hi, Pranav.
Morning.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you're having a good day.
I am. It was a bit of a bumpy morning. I just became a father like 5 months ago, so we're still trying to find out the best rhythm for us and our daughter.
Congratulations, first of all,
Thank you.
on your parenthood, and I hope the baby is healthy and fine at this times,
Yeah,
right? Uh,
yeah, she's doing well.
so to start off, I'd like to know a little bit about you and your role.
hmm
Before we jump into your role, if you could tell me in a couple of sentences about you, what you've done till now, and what's your current role.
Yeah, you got it. So I'm Michael. I'm the chief commercial officer at the company called Shleep. We are a software company located in Amsterdam, and we sell what we refer to as a digital sleep coaching platform. We can dive a bit deeper into that later, but yeah, my journey so far was sales, international sales. I started my career as a financial advisor back in what was it, like early 2000s, um, and then moved to software sales. And I
Yeah.
soon found out that that was something that I really wanted to stay active in. And over the last years, I've helped companies scale from 0 to 2 million in ARR, and yeah, basically building out sales teams in a predictable, scalable way, training SDRs and AEs, and I'd like to be in the trenches myself, making cold calls and doing the heavy lifting. Um, yeah, over the years, it progressed to helping companies get a foothold in Europe. I've been working for a company in the Bay Area, managing their business in Europe, and now just recently, at the beginning of the year, I started at Sleep.
Nice. So I want to quickly jump on to the role that you represent,
hmm
Sleep, as it's called a chief commercial officer.
Yes.
Not such a widely used title. It's relatively new for a lot of us.
hmm
Uh, Again, we've been used to hearing titles like the chief revenue officer, chief marketing officer, chief sales officer, for that matter. What exactly are the responsibilities of a chief commercial officer? Is it a crossover of all these three?
Yes, by default it is. Normally, the chief commercial officer is responsible for sales related activities, so revenue generation, but also marketing these days. So they flag themselves together. I mean, even well, especially now, sales and marketing should be more and more aligned, and to make it easier, well, we decided to create a role that combines, or at least combines the responsibilities are merged when it comes to sales and marketing. So those are the two pillars. And
Right.
then obviously we have a lot of calls with product and any other department that is tied into the commercial part of it, because we do have a lot of clients who are using our platform. So we do have often sessions to talk about what we can improve there. But the end responsible departments are sales and marketing.
Right. Uh, I mean, walk me through a day in your life. Like, what is it like for a chief commercial officer? What are the responsibilities and um, like what are the activities that you generally undertake in your current role?
Well, that's a good question. So currently, well, my week starts on Monday with a sales and marketing meeting where everyone who is partially or full time active in sales and marketing is explaining their goals for that specific week. So we use Trello, and we everyone has their own personal board where we create basically cards that we can follow up ourselves or distribute to coworkers, or if we want to work together, we
Yeah.
can assign them to each other. That's where it starts. Obviously, from a revenue perspective, we have a budget goal for the year, breakdown in quarters and into months. So I'll split it up because it's easier. We got the sales and marketing activities that I and my team needs to unfold. And then we have our marketing activities where we have a superstar in marketing, Venus, is explaining with her team what the actions are on her site. And together we look at potential hiccups or obstacles or tough projects where we might need to huddle together but basically that's where we start during the week. And then we are a small team. We're 10, 15 people. So right now, what we're currently doing is we're trying to make the best use of everyone's talents. Um,
Yeah.
so normally we would do way more than that, but in terms of activities, but we try to funnel it down towards what everyone is good at. And right now, I'm still liking to make cocktails. I enjoy making them. Uh, and I'm reasonably okay at it, doing it when it comes to a outcome. So we set it up where I can still make cold calls on Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. So we
Yeah.
have those days assigned where I and my colleague Guy is working on cold activities. And then on Monday, Tuesday, we're working mainly on the harder tasks. So those are the implementations or the software challenges that we're facing that we need to deal with, like building sales dashboards or cleaning up Salesforce, working on opportunities and follow-ups. So basically, the first part of the week is the heavy lifting, the tasks that take most likely longer than 60 minutes, and then during the rest of the remainder of the week, it's hunting.
That's the case for a lot of people in the same way, right? So I mean, so this podcast is about videos. We all go mad over videos.
Yeah.
So that's basically the reason why we do the podcast. And we'll talk a lot about the brand and the activities that are linked to videos, right?
Hmm.
But before that, I'd like to take a shot at this question because I'm sure things are going to get serious. Just like take a light one at the start. So I know LinkedIn says you're the chief commercial officer at Shleep, which is related to like sleep and performance. So you're a sleep and performance expert, and you're a chief commercial officer. I want to ask you, how is our sleep related to our commercial well-being? Right? We all know that related to our physical well-being. It
Hmm.
helps us focus and builds our immunity and things like that. I mean, the more you sleep, you get yourself uh, uh, like more pumped up for the next day, etc.
Hmm.
If you don't catch up on sleep, that's what you lose out on. But how is sleep related to our commercial well-being?
Well, I mean, commercial well-being. If we look at the definition of commercial well-being, for me, that is that you're actually able to provide for your family and you achieve your goals from a commercial point of view. And being active in a commercial industry, which we are in SaaS, we can achieve goals, right? Now, in order to achieve goals, we need to have realistic goals. Those were we look at historical data, we look at actual data, and we make a forecast that we think is reasonable of what we can achieve. Now, once you have that, then it is you and your team, or everyone, the company, basically, working towards those goals. But those goals are tough. It's tough to achieve goals because they have to be aggressive. They should not be easily attained, but they should be realistic, though.
Yeah.
But in order to be at your best, you need to be in balance. You need to be in sync, right? And sleep is what we believe the foundation of well-being. When we look at well-being, there are mainly a couple of sections, and there's, well, if you make a breakdown, there's physical and mental health, right? Those are the first two pillars. But we believe that sleep, not our company Sleep, but sleep, just the sleep itself, is the foundation of well-being. Because if you do not sleep well, you're less likely to eat well. You're less likely to work out, right? And those are critical elements So what we believe is that sleep is a foundation of your balance and well-being in general.
Right.
So how that relates to each other is that if you do sleep well, you are most likely to perform better. You will be more efficient. You're
Right.
basically a better version of yourself, and sleeping in general, like every person have a has a chronotype, right? What we refer to as a biorhythm or a circadian rhythm. That is basically our mother nature playing our part in our body, and we need to make sure that we listen to ourselves. And when
Yeah.
we're tired, we should sleep. And well, we know what we should do from an ideal perspective, right? But the only
Yeah.
problem is that the
I
real
was
world
about
doesn't.
I was
y-
about to get to that. I mean, we all know
Yes,
that we should be doing a certain
yeah, that's
number
the
of
hardest
hours.
part.
Yeah.
So we need to find a balance, and so everyone has a rhythm. So everyone also is a chronotype when it comes to a sleeper. You have morning persons, you have night person or evening. Um, and the problem is that everyone has a number of hours of sleep that they should have. That is their number. For me, that by default is 8 hours. That's where I perform the best if I get that.
Yeah.
Could be 9, could be 10, could be 6. It depends per person. But the problem is that if you do not get that number per night, then you build up a sleep debt. So if you need 8 and you get 7 for whatever reason, um, that means that that day you've built up a sleep debt of 1 hour,
Yeah.
which is okay, you can cover. But if that is happening every single week of the day, then by the weekend, you're on -5. And this is where it becomes tricky because if you're sleep deprived, then you're not a good version of yourself. You're easily agitated. You're well by default you will eat 140 calories more every single day that you're sleep deprived. So it's not healthy. But
Yeah.
you make poor decisions. It's you're in a bad state of mind where you shouldn't want to be. You can easily compare it with being drunk. Like, so someone who is sleep deprived works and acts in the same way as someone who would have had 6 glasses of alcohol.
Oh,
Um,
that's an interesting fact.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we as humans, we make 35,000 decisions a day, where like 2 to 300 are in our conscious level, but the
Yeah.
other 34K are in our subconscious level. Those are the actions that we do not think about, right? Like driving a car, lifting your hand to pick something up. But those are also the things that we could endanger other human beings, or your family. Those are things that we're wired in doing. But yeah, if we're making bad decisions, then that's potentially dangerous for ourselves, but also for companies that we're leading. Less good decisions. So it is in our best interest to listen as good as we can to ourselves to get the
Absolutely.
amount of sleep per night that we need.
So I think it is very important, and we've all been ignoring uh, sleep as a superpower that you're preaching to most leaders out there,
Yes.
and not just leaders, for everybody who's working. And it is important, and especially because of pandemic, we uh, tend to burn out a lot more than our regular work lives, and that we're spending times at home. It's I know we are cutting down on a lot of our commute time, etc. But then sometimes we also like don't draw boundaries, and then we end up working for long hours, sitting in one place, and getting exhausted. Right? Even without doing a lot of physical work, you're mentally
Yeah.
exhausted. So your brain also needs that kind of rest, and if it doesn't get it, it's going to affect your performance in the days to come. Right? So overall, I think we all get the point, and I personally would like to make this amend to my sleep cycle. I think I've also been spending like a little less time on in bed,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get myself some rest. But then I usually end up making up for that on the weekends. But like you said, it's not a healthy habit to do. So we'll try and pace it
No.
out. Thank you for that tip, Michael.
No, you got
Uh,
it.
so let me quickly jump onto the topic that I want to hit. So uh, pandemic hit us somewhere towards the start of this year, right? It got serious by about March, and the thing that I saw is most people in leadership in charge of spends on marketing, on outbound activities, immediately happened to go into their shells. They cut all their spends on marketing and commercial activities, like any activation, any sort of communication to their consumers. Uh, do you think it was a wise decision to do something like this for most people?
Hmm. Um, yeah, that's a tough question. I, I talk often to people who are in that position. We have been in that position, um, and those decisions that companies and leaders had to take were not always the preferable decision. Like people don't want to stop spending money on stuff that they need, right? Um,
Yeah,
but it's not always their decision to make. Like small companies, like startups and scale ups, they have a group of investors backing them, and they had to be very careful with the forecast of the rest of the year. So what happened in the startup scene, or at least in Amsterdam in the startup scene, is that a lot of investors they required a second forecast, a COVID forecast, where it was less likely that the initial numbers would be achieved. What happens then, right? What happens if business is not running as fast as planned, and where can we cut? Where can we freeze? And we just had to be, or everyone had to be more careful with investing. Um, Today, asking me this question today, I would say no, um, because we
exactly.
see business picking up again.
Yeah,
However, in the period where COVID just started, I understand why this was happening. You just
right,
had to freeze. Like it was either a decision to spend money on events or other budget allocations, or allocated to potentially keeping staff. Then obviously remaining of the employees is more important than other events. But yeah, I think it's a case per case that you need to have a look at it, because if you are investing a lot of hours in something that has a X payout, and there's a software tool that you can use to increase your revenues to 3x, then it might make sense to invest it, because you would end up with more money by the end of the season.
right.
So I think it depends on what the case is, but yeah, I understand why it has happened. Whether it's
Right.
a wise decision, yeah, it's hard
Like,
to
it's easier to I mean, look back and say that, hey, we could have done these many campaigns or touch points when most of our other competitors weren't really communicating. Like, they were not communicating with their consumers. It was like an open field for me to, like, uh, go out and take that advantage.
yeah.
But like we all said, there's uncertainty in our minds, and then we're not able to make that decision whether or not business is going to pick up, or whether we're going to get the relevant necessary returns on the investment that we're making.
Yeah.
Uh, that said, I mean, now that we are slowly getting to a stage where business is picking up, and people have started spending again. They're doing a lot more communications. People are advertising, a lot of commercials coming out on TV, uh, and on internet ads, etc. Uh, but for traditional sales leaders, it is a lot about, like, trade shows, etc., like where you'd go and talk to people in person, etc. I What do you think, generally leaders in organizations and yourself, uh, I mean, are people successful at finding a replacement for these offline activations at trade shows, or the travel in general, where
Hmm.
everybody likes to close a sale? You know that if you are in front of that person in the same room, you can handshake, and I think you can connect better, and it becomes a lot more easier in today's day, when that is not possible. We are all distance and working from our own homes. Do you think we've found successful replacements for strategies like this?
Well, we have to, because I mean, I miss it. I miss events. I love events, and like you said, I love looking the other person in the eye, drinking beer, build trust and talk business, but sometimes also not talk about business and just talk about the good parts in life, and without even knowing, get to a level where you trust each other, and where you can easier pitch your product should it become to that point. Um, so I think events are very valuable for those who know how to work those events. Um, yeah, replacing events. I mean, we have to also think about our future in a way where events are not possible anymore, right? Like a handshake. I don't think that will be coming back anytime soon. But more importantly, it might happen that physical events are not going to happen for the next year or two or three. What then, right? Because it was and still is a very effective way of generating leads, qualified
Yeah,
leads. But they came at a price as well, right? Like every proper event where you would be able to meet up people would cost or at
yeah,
least 10K, 15, or even more than that. So
yeah,
the cost of opportunity was always high. It has always been high.
yeah,
But if you are in a software business where your AOV per month is around 10K, then it made sense, because one deal would equal a successful event. Not that events were only revenue generating; it's also branding and being out there. But I think
yeah,
that if you're a good sales leader, you already have different options. And I think these days it's more important to build a brand, and to write good copy and being out there, and building a foundation of trust in the digital highway, meaning like digital events,
yeah,
content, white papers, case studies, like anything relevant for your brand and company, and being out there, and share that with us, or get the biggest reach, is even more effective when it comes to the number of leads you can generate it from.
yeah.
But it's also good at the same time to build your brand, and make people aware about your company. So I don't think it's a per se a bad thing, even though that I personally miss it. I think it accelerates companies' flexibility to
Yeah.
have another option on the table. And for those companies who were not doing this, they now have to. And the ones that sucked at it, they just stop with existing. And I think that it's also like the right of the strongest, right? So like, there's some kind of evolution taking place at the
Yeah.
moment, and yeah, I think it's for the better. Because and
Absolutely.
some,
Like you said, it's not just the business meet events that you miss. It's also those concerts that you would attend, like the
mm,
music concerts, etc. A lot of entertainment that has also cut down because of so you cannot go to the movies. You cannot uh, maybe roam around in malls anymore. Things like that have cut down. So I think the physical touch and face-to-face conversations has been affected. But then I think one significant uh, observation that I've made is with all the other things that you mentioned, video has come out as one of the important aspects of how things are changing, right? You're talking about virtual events, you're talking about virtual meetings, you're doing a lot more Zoom calls, Skype calls, I don't know what, Google Meets, and if there are others, and then there are a lot of these podcasts. So Mador videos started as a physical event last year in Bangalore, and this year we were not able to do this in the offline setting. So we decided to do a podcast right now, and then maybe hopefully this can evolve into something much more bigger, like a global event. So the whole idea is to like connect with more people. Significantly, it has become easier as well. Like we are connected at like from our screens right now. We would have it would have been very difficult for you and me to be in the same room, considering you are in Netherlands, I am in India right now. But I think this has bridged that gap, and I see that uh, like a lot more people are producing more content in general, right? Whether be it for sales, whether be it product guys. We've been in talks with a lot of product teams, customer success teams who've been producing video content because they don't want to miss out on those touch points. And I want to understand like what do you think? Like, see, again, typically pre-pandemic, this is what the expectations from the marketing team would be, right? You would have a in-house team which would look at content for all the organization needs. Do you think and agree that like content is everybody's, or marketing is everybody's job in the organization, and many a times that certain pieces of content need certain subject matter experts. Whether if you're doing something related to sales, we should have people who front sales for the organization be a part of those videos, and the responsibility has to be on them. The onus has to be on that particular team, whether it is sales, whether it's product. And marketing team could possibly be the facilitator, like they could facilitate this process. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, writing copy and content is now the way and the most important way of building your company. Um, like, yes, obviously, sales is key. You need to close deals as a company, but um, a, a a stream of leads is more important because I mean, it's easier to close them when there's a certain a certain moods already that companies are ready to invest, right? Like whenever a startup starts, like after 5 years, you should get 70 to 80% of your leads coming from inbound and not outbound, right? Um, so I think writing copy and content is the way to do so. We ourselves are hosting a lot of webinars and workshops that, in this case, our CEO, Dr. Els Venderhelm, is running. And we do that free of charge. Marketing is facilitating and helping up with writing the content and the topics, or the topics are from a scientific point of view from Shleep, obviously, but anything around that is dealt by marketing. And even client success is helping facilitating those webinars. We post like 3 or 4 times a week as a company about relevant topics that we believe are important to share. Not always about us, but more importantly, also about what is in the market. What do we see as thought leaders is important for people to be aware, and for our followers to know. And while doing that, we're actually gaining a lot of followers, and we recently had a lot of followers in the month of September. Well, looking at the content that we posted, it was more about stuff that we've seen in the market, right? Not per se about us. So I think it's very important also for companies to be aware that it's not posting about yourself,
Correct.
or it is posting about what people would care about and what you believe your ideal customer profile cares about. And you can create as much content as you like, but it needs to be good. It needs to be helpful. It needs to be, people need to have something about it, like you can do something with it. Like maybe one takeaway, or learn something from it, or make them look at something from a different point of view than they would do before, like something catchy.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're doing that, like helping people lead with content, and then you're doing a good job. And while doing so, you are making more people aware about your product. Not per se that you're pitching about it, but people are learning about your company brand, and your name. And as long as you
Yeah.
keep doing that repeatedly in a positive way, at some moment it's okay to pitch, if they have said that they want to learn more about it. But not before that. We should be careful. We should, like back in the day, we would like sell at any given moment. I think it's a good thing that we're not doing that anymore. Some
Yeah.
companies still do, obviously, but we should teach and learn. And as the moment come that people would like to learn more, then by all means, then they'll join the sales cycle, but not before that moment.
Yeah. So I think you correctly mentioned that a lot of content that you end up producing is possibly even self help, where people find value in that, or they get entertained, and then they understand that, okay, this is useful for me, or this made me laugh, or this made me smile.
Hmm.
I learned a thing from this, and then they happen to have some soft corner towards the brand that produces it as well. I mean, instead of trying to sell them in their face, this is far better a strategy when it comes to like influencing your target profiles, right? That said, I want to understand, because you said that a lot of these content pieces that you've done in the past continue to bring you inbound. Do you think your outbound strategies have changed? Have you seen uh, uh, like your initiatives to reach out to people? Like, have they changed? Has video creeped into your outbound strategy?
Yeah, yeah. Video is now a critical part of my outbound strategies. For the reason, like you mentioned this as well before, is that like with events, you had a way to build trust pretty fast, and one of the reasons why I personally like it is because I could look at the other person. It's like playing poker as well, right? I prefer live poker over online poker because you just get more information that you can process and to use to your advantage. Um, Back in the day, like I've been a adept of predictable revenue. I've been sending many emails for years to with different companies, and the response rates back in the day were pretty high. Like Aaron Ross preached that back in the day, referral requests with somewhere between 11%. And that was true. But looking at that, like maybe 10 years ago versus now, and it might be different because I'm working in the HR industry, but they go down, they drop. And I've seen that with my previous employer as well. The traditional email is not per se that effective anymore as itself, unless you hyper personalize that approach. So those mass so spray and pay email strategies, I think it's good that they're fading out in the way they were designed, and they're pushing us to make a better sequence and a more personalized sequence with many
Right.
steps, like maybe 10, 15, maybe up to 20 different steps over time lapse of 2, 3 months, and of those steps could be a cold call, could be a LinkedIn
Yeah. Yeah.
request, a message, a email, yes, still, but more personalized than before. Um, so yes, video is part of my content strategy. Um, it's not always the first message, the first step. Sometimes it is, but more importantly, it isn't. It's later. It's becoming more valuable. So maybe it's maybe step 3 or 4. But yes, video is definitely part of it, and it's awkward sometimes. I gotta be honest. Like the other week, last week, I had to do a video, and I took 12 shots of that video. I had to do it 12 times over because I was just not satisfied with what came out of it,
Yeah.
and it made me realize I didn't send the video in the end. I ended up sending an email, so that was
Oh,
a bad day for me. I gave in too easily, and it's just, I mean, these days exist as well. Normally it is okay, but looking at it, the video was way too long. I did a product demo with video for over half an hour, and that's just not cool. So I realized
okay.
they should be way shorter than
But
that, and they normally
you
are.
you
But
also
yeah,
see the upside of that, right? I mean, you would have one shot when you do it in person with the person. Now,
yeah,
video, you could do 12 retakes, right?
yeah, you
You could
can.
refine your message to get it right, and till you to, I mean, if you had not stopped, you could have done it till you were satisfied.
Yes. Yeah, it gives you some advantages as well. I'm not sure if it's an advantage. I don't know, because it does cost a lot of time. But yes, those are the perks, I guess, that we have these days in the digital era.
Yeah,
No, but video is critical for the reason that you build trust faster because people can still look at you even though that it's digital. But
yeah.
and
So, I mean,
I like it personally. Just I think it's good that people and companies are doing it.
awesome. I mean, I just happened to come across this post yesterday on LinkedIn by one of our previous episode guests,
Hmm.
Nick Bennett, who's director of marketing at logs.io. Happened to say that it's very frustrating when somebody in the company who's at a higher level than you, if you want to be trying out something new, says something like, "Hey, this is how we've been doing things all the while." And it's very hard to question how things are done in the organization. But that said, like you said, there are progressive leaders like yourself who are taking the effort to make those changes, to adapt to these times, and willing to change their ways and means to do things in a certain way. uh, that said, like, I feel like you correctly mentioned that uh, we've like most sales guys and most SDRs have become over reliant on email, right? It's overdone, and they typically at this point in time, I have seen a lot of them expect to only do calls that where the other person is expecting them to give them a call,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they're ready for
Yes.
them to talk to them, which leads to something called conversation atrophy, right? Which reduces your skills to pick up a conversation with someone that you come across. But but now, do you think if we were to continue down that road, a lot of our communication skills in our teams would go down, and the ability to like pick up a conversation with someone new, to put yourself out in the open, would that take a hit?
Well, I think it's our job as sales leaders to prevent that from happening. Um, yes, there's going to be companies where that will happen, but I hope and I'll fight for it that they're the vast majority of the companies have the right people in the right place that prevent that from happening. I mean, cold calling is far from that. It has been very effective and remains so. For me, I love making cold calls because I love acting outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But looking back on why I like it is because I had a manager back in the day who liked it, and he taught me in a very well. I was trying to find the right word, but disarming way that this could be fun. You could be completely yourself. Try to make a appointment with whoever you want to make an appointment with, and it's okay to fail. It's you'll most likely fail. Like 90% of the time, you will get a no, and you know what? That actually is okay. It's part of the job. It is how you deal with no's, and like if you just accept that this will happen, then it's fine. What you need to do is you need to learn. You need to. It would be wise if you would make cold calls often is to learn from a cold call that is going well. What did you do well there? Let's just decipher what happened there, and
Yeah.
look at that conversation, because conversations they matter. Like true convos that brings deals, not meetings set. You have SDRs where a meeting is a deliverable, and then there's a no show, or a meeting has happened and another person is taking the call, and then this guy thinks or this woman thinks, oh, what is this, right? A true conversation is more important than a book meeting, because the quality of a true conversation is good because it's honest, it's happening. You can ask questions that you are asking at that moment that would be either qualifying that person or not, because qualifying that's also fine. But there's better outcomes coming from conversations than just meetings set as a deliverable. So I think it remains very important to be able to cold call, also for the person to know how to deal with no's, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not always easy. You need to learn what you need to do in such situations, but these situations need to happen, right? You need to make sure that you are in a environment where this is happening often, because it's brain training in the end. It is dealing with objections. Like if you're in one industry, you're selling one specific product, and you're selling it to one specific or a couple personas, then you will face objections. But more oftenly, those objections could be similar. Either I already have a vendor, or yes, might be interesting, but why me? Why now? Like those questions, you can train on it.
Right.
And yeah, as long as you keep training and learning what worked well and what didn't, you become
Yeah.
slightly better at it. And
Right.
um,
And you also find, I feel you also find different ways, innovative ways to like reach out, right? Uh, I mean, the kind of impression that you make the first time, even before you book a meeting, before you start having a conversation, the con the brand that you want to talk to, or the person on the other side has already made
mhm.
up their perception about you, right? So it's very important the kind of impression that you made. I want to play this interesting video for you to have a look. This is
Please do.
something that one of my LinkedIn connections named Ryan Scalera has put
Hmm.
out. So he wanted to book a meeting with the Gong team, and
Nice.
he came up with a rap video to send it to these guys, a personalized rap video, and
Mm-hmm.
then he sent that out. And at the end of it, everyone on the Gong team was like interacting on this post, and they were like, hey, you should take this meeting. So imagine those many number of people now are evangelists for Ryan in inside Gong,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting this person intended to take that meeting. You see the kind of force that is behind Ryan now to get a meeting, and I'm pretty sure you would have. I would like to play that video for you to
Yeah,
have a
it
look
plays
at.
there.
Wow, 200 million raised in a Series D. Congratulations, Gong. You guys deserve it. Damn, it feels good to be a gongster. Shout out to Udi, Ryan Longfield, Jameson Young, oh, and Sarah Brazier, and the rest of the Gong team. Now let's get it. Damn, it feels good to be a gongster fan. Bringing revenue and tell, now that's a gongster plan. They helped us hit the quota all across the nation. Unicorn going global with that valuation. Jay-Z said a Billy was a pound cake. You're rocking 2.2, bringing the tech that makes the ground break. From analytics to coaching and feedback. A lot of companies don't even know that they need that. Always there for a rep who stinks at taking notes or having Keenan listen in if he wants to coach, man. What's the future? Only Gong can tell. Now imagine if your team was trained to gap sell. What if Gong could gap sell? If Gong could gap sell. Look ahead, man, the future is great. I'm just trying to paint a picture of your future state. What if Gong could gap sell? If Gong could gap sell. 5.5 billion? Give me a call for the most exciting training the Gong team has ever gone through.
So
Love it.
what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's well done. It's very well made.
So everybody on the team, I mean, I've been seeing that post for a while now, and it's full of comments. I mean, people from Gong have commented saying that, hey, this is the most innovative outreach that they have seen. I mean, this is just
Yes.
one. I think there's so many other things that are possible. You can innovate, and you can. I mean, he's used a video to his advantage here, and
Mm-hmm.
successfully got to the person that he wanted to talk to. So, what's better than that, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's how business should be. Like it's good to. I mean, everyone is reaching out like 5 days a week from morning 8 a.m. until 5 6, and people receive a lot of crap. There's, I mean, like the tons of emails that people receive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So a good pattern interrupt in a fun way is even better.
Yeah.
That will make people listen. And I mean, Keenan is great. Like the gap selling is awesome, and I do believe that
Awesome.
there might be something for these guys if they incorporate that. That would be even better because Gong is pretty cool. I like them, and we spoke about not pitching about your product, right? I wasn't aware about Gong like what was it like 2 years ago. I didn't even know them. But over time, I saw content from them, and indeed, Udi Leroy and his team are creating great content, and like that valuable information of all those conversations that they analyze and they share with you for free. It's just great because, like the best CTA in emails. For years, I've been using something that I thought was working well, and then I saw something from them, and it was about not demanding time from someone in the first email or within the contact, but make a step in between about ask if they would be open to learn more, and that is just one small thing, and that increased my response rates with 16%, with just a minor change coming from them. So ever since that moment, I thought, oh, this is awesome. So I kept following their content, and they're great. And also Keenan is doing an awesome job with gap selling and those live videos where people can start selling into him. I think that yeah, Gong should definitely look into options to even keep evolving their product with new features. And if there's someone in a fun way trying to get a meeting, then by all means, this guy should definitely deserve a meeting after all the hours and times he might have spent into making that video. But yeah, it's a video. That's possible these days. It's nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to understand in detail about sleep using videos to their
Hmm.
benefits. What are the regular video initiatives that you generally do? at the company?
Right. So for me personally, those are videos that I use in the buying process. So we have a customer journey, and on that customer journey, at given moments, I send a video, whether it's a follow up or a recap of a meeting or thanking someone for connecting with me. It could be different reasons where I, at that moment, think that a video is needed. We use outreach. So right now we have specific email campaigns, and part of that campaign is a video step. Um, so
Yeah,
that's for me personally on the sales side. Then as a company, we create a lot of videos with our CEO, Dr. Els van der Helm, where
yeah,
she would address certain topics around the topic of sleep. So we have webinars. We also have a content library with over 150 videos made in the past for our existing clients, but also for our new clients who would like to learn more about certain specific topics around sleep.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so that's where we currently are using it. So we have every 2 weeks a webinar, a free webinar for everyone to tune into, and that's also a video. We use Zoom, either sometimes webinars or the old school Zoom, where we can be a little bit more interactive, because sometimes it helps if there's a big audience to do not unmute everyone or mute everyone. It's a pretty laborious job. Sometimes it's good with a smaller session to have everyone's mic open to increase interaction. Um, and then yeah, no, that's where we mostly are using it. And then also when we've had webinars or certain events for companies, we create a Vimeo video with a lock-in details for that company to review specific material that they then can share internally, because not everyone might make it in terms of timing or different time zones. So
Yeah.
we create videos that they can circulate internally. Um,
Yeah, I
yes.
think we don't speak a lot about these internal facing content pieces for our internal stakeholders,
Hmm.
employees being the center of that, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I think I mean, in today's time, it's hard to keep your sales force motivated and the drive in them going, right? It's hard because everybody uh, uh, like goes through a lot uh, back at home with their family and things like that. It's hard to concentrate and have the same kind of drive that you have when you're surrounded by other people constantly making calls, replying to emails, etc., and then you're also pumped up. But then when you're in a room alone in front of your laptop, trying to do this, it's hard. So I mean, uh, sales teams need this motivation boost every now and then, and what better, I mean, in today's time, when you cannot meet them, you could possibly do, I don't know, training and onboarding videos with them, trying to ensure that their morale is up, sending them short bursts of motivation their way, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that that's critical. So whenever we kick off a pilot with a enterprise or mid-market company, then we often try to see if the CEO or someone in the management board could just launch a quick video of say 1-2 minutes to explain the value of a pilot, and we see that that increases adoption. So yeah, it's just a 1 or 2 minute video, but it can have such a important impact. So yeah, no, I mean, video is critical these days.
Absolutely. And I think a part of your uh, like expertise also lies in conversion conversion optimization, right? I've seen that on your profile that you worked on that front as well. uh, what How important it is to use the right medium. I mean, video, I feel, is the right medium there for two different purposes, right?
Hmm.
One is when you land on a page, uh, the the person might land there from seeing an ad, might have done a Google search and come there, or possibly would have typed the address because he's seen it somewhere else or he's heard it from someone. Now the expectations are different when you land on a page on your website, and if at all he or she is not able to understand what the offering is, or doesn't get what he or she is looking for in the first few seconds you are about to lose him, right? How important do you think videos play a role there in order to like improve that experience, that landing page experience? That is my first part of the question. And the second part is, once they visit and they go back, you
Yes.
retarget, right? You retarget them through, I don't know, display ads, or on social networks you follow them through the pixels that you have tracked. uh, is it worthy enough to send? I mean, I don't know, I'm not talking about small ticket sizes, like small lifetime value products, but then I'm talking about times when a personalized video could make sense if the deal size is higher. So these are my two questions: the landing page experience and the retargeting, personalized retargeting experience. What do you think? What kind of role do videos play there?
A picture says more than 1,000 words is something that sticks still with me, and I think we need to be careful with understanding what user we are dealing with. Right? Is this what type of user? Is it during the day? Is it during the evenings? Like during evenings, videos go down in effectiveness because sometimes people are with families and or in locations where they cannot press on play. But during office hours, people are behind their desk and it's easier to play a video. So if it would be a desktop visitor, I then safely can, or most likely can, assume that this might happen the vast majority during the day. I would use video as a explainer video, but short and crisp, like less, maybe even less than 1 minute, about
Yeah,
the value prop, like why should they care, like addressing the pain that they most likely have, and capitalize on that. Um, so yes, I would definitely use video as a explainer, but at the same time, you should also have a short written piece of content to explain, because people are, and when it comes to mobile, are not always able to play a video, and then you have lost their visit basically because they can't play, and they don't scroll further, and that's a pity. So with my previous employer, we were all about testing, like AI testing and ABN testing, to see what works. And I fully believe in if you have the traffic, in well, split testing or more, different versions of your webpage to learn what your user thinks is valuable. Um, but yeah, a set that can only be done with if you have decent traffic. So if you're a startup or a scale up and you don't have that traffic, then I think you should just test. You can in GA or whatever analytics tool you use, you can measure the number of people coming on your page. Like look at the length that they stay at your page, and look at what sections they interact with, and try to find steps that you can then later optimize. So you need to box it on your web page and see what is working well and what is not. Like there are these tools like Hotjar or other heat mapping tools where you can find the interaction that people have with mouse clicks, or hovering over certain hamburger menus, and you're able to track it back pretty reasonable. So once you do that, you can find out what is working well and what is not. And I would always test and learn. Like, who are we to tell what's working well and what isn't? It's our clients that make that decision for us. So see if it works well. If it doesn't, kick it out and try it again with something else. But
yeah,
just keep thinking about them and not us. Like, think about their problems and think about why they should interact with you.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it's very important to use video, but at the right time,
At the right
I
time,
would say.
correct. That said, I think I was just going through the properties on YouTube and on LinkedIn, etc., where Shleep puts out its content.
Hmm.
I happen to see the YouTube channel, the kind of videos that you did, a bunch of them with the CEO herself talking about sleep and sleep in general. Uh, I One place where I feel, I mean, as an outsider, that Sleep could
Hmm.
do more content is around their customers, right? One, they're putting their stories out. I think that's where, I mean, you could do a lot more. And then generally, because sleep is such a thing that every single person, whether being a leader in an organization or not, relates to. Everybody,
Yes.
I mean, you show me one person in this world who doesn't have to sleep, and he's still going to like survive and perform.
Yes.
There's nobody like that. So this is such a a relatable topic that I see so much user generated content that is possible, right? Which can be done. So I mean, I was looking out if Sleep had done something like this, and I came across an interesting video, or
Hmm.
rather a series of videos that I'd like to play for you. This is for everybody else who's watching. This is not put out by Sleep, and I'd still like to show you though this this video.
Please
And
do.
Michael, I'd like you to also have a look at this. This short 30-second clip that I picked out for the podcast.
Bring it, Pranav.
Young white cell, bitch, we living life. Sleep, 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 sleep. Young white cell, bitch, we living life. Sleep, 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 sleep.
So
That's funny.
this is a TikTok challenge that that has been doing rounds for a while, called hashtag Sleep Challenge, and has nothing to do with the brand. Uh, what
That's
did you
fun.
think of that?
I love TikTok. Those videos and those challenges are fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
pretty serious though for some people who actually have that disease. It can be dangerous, but yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty fun to watch it.
absolutely. So this came out when I was trying to look for videos around sleep, and this doesn't uh, like have any connection with the brand. It is actually a misheard lyric. The actual lyric is snake and not sleep. So it's snake. The title of the song is Snake. It's by an
Okay.
artist called Lil Kid. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a Lil Kid is the name of the artist. Snake is this thing, and it's viral. It's out there for you to go and check out. I mean, such an opportunity for a brand like Sleep to also participate in something like this, and engage with audiences on a larger scale. I guess if that makes sense.
It does.
But
We're
then I think,
actually right now working on creating a song list with songs related to sleep that people could use. So we're starting a Spotify account here. So we
I
actually have
actually happen to use it, Michael. I went to sleep to one of your playlists on Spotify.
nice.
It was a really well done playlist. I think put me to sleep in 20 minutes or so. I
Oh,
mean,
that's great.
yeah,
That's good to
I
hear, man.
actually, yeah, just maybe four tracks, and I felt the difference, right? So brilliant. I think going on Spotify, creating a playlist, such a brilliant move.
Yeah, it was an awesome
Who
idea.
who was behind this campaign? Tell me more about this.
That was Venus, I think, and I don't know who else was involved, but it might have been else as well. But now Venus, our marketing manager, she's a superstar. I don't know, she gathered from everyone in our company. So there was a challenge on Slack to provide as many songs as possible, and it's actually still ongoing. So I'll use this song as a fun way to add it into that list. Not that people might fall asleep faster, but this is definitely something that we would have to look into because, well, if something
Yeah,
is happening, then it might be handy
yeah,
to make use of it.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
I want to know this question again. I ask this to most of my guests.
sure.
I mean, we all look at our team members. We all look at the content that we put out. But then there are always people outside your organization that you feel uh, do so well at content, at LinkedIn, at videos. Who are the marketing and revenue professionals or leaders that you see on your feed that you think are crushing it on LinkedIn with video?
With video.
In general, I mean, people who put out great content, who inspire you to do better content for yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's two ways. I guess I always look at companies who are producing content, and obviously, like the companies like Outreach and Gong are the top tier of the pyramid, which is something to aspire for, but not very likely to be at like next month or next year even. Um, but from a personal point of view, I love to learn about sales. I like sales. I'm in many sales revenue groups like Revenue Collective and Rev Genius and other groups like that. So I like to learn from other professionals who are in the same job as I am. And what I personally like at the moment is watching folks from Connect and Sell make live cold calls on Twitch and on YouTube. So just recently, I was watching it at them creating videos, and it's not like a edited video; it's just raw image of them making cold calls while everyone is watching, and that I think is you need to have good heart to make those calls, because I can imagine it must be awkward at times sometimes to just do that out of in front of open for everyone. So I respect that, and yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing that, making those calls myself with a larger audience online, for people to tune into. So yeah, for me, the guys that Connect and Sell, and just recently I was watching Ryan Reiser do that with his thing on Twitch. I think the Student of Sales it's called. I really appreciate that, people putting them out there and making a difference. I think that's a important takeaway for many people like me.
Yeah, yeah. My last question to you before we wrap this conversation. Again, it has been such an illustrative conversation. Lots to look back and reflect on. Is what kind of goals that you have set for yourself and for the company for
Right.
the remainder of the year and the next year, with things changing every other day, I would say.
Yeah.
How are you adapting? How are you planning to like build a roadmap for yourself, for the company, and is video going to be again I'm being selfish here, but again I want to know if video is going to be a big part of your plans for the company and uh, for yourself, right? Putting
Yes.
your own brand out there.
Well, we have a revenue target for the remainder of the year that we'd like to achieve, and we had one previously in the year as well. We're most likely not going to achieve the initial goal set. We adjusted and made a new goal based upon the existing situation, and it's going to be tough to achieve it, but we're getting close. We just need some of our pilots to continue with a actual annual contract, and that would help us get to our goals when it comes to a revenue target for this year. But we haven't looked at 2021 just yet. We're just doing everything we can now to make this year as best as possible given the recent circumstances. So we work with 3 months plannings. So we're currently working on our last 3 month planning for the remainder of the year, and then by the end of the year we'll look at Q1 and the entire year in general. But yes, video is going to be a important step for the company to continue pushing outbound when it comes to sales. So as part of our sales journey, yes, but also from a marketing point of view, creating videos around certain topics and content will just continue to do so. It has been important and will remain important, if not become more important, because last year or this year actually, we thought that we could do events. Well, that's not going to happen. So there's a new list of responsibilities that we have when we are planning for the new year, and it will be more content. Clearly, that has to happen because the other sources of marketing events are not happening. So we're pushing even more, I think, on video in the next year. So yeah, we're hybrid. We try to adapt towards the situation. If something is a problem, then we need to acknowledge that there is a problem and see how we can deal with it in the best way we can. And it's tough. Sometimes it's not easy to make a decision. But if we keep thinking logically and think about our clients, what they want, and how we can facilitate them, and I think if we keep doing that and approaching challenges from that point of view, then we would make decisions that are in our favor. And sometimes it's tough, but we'll find a way to overcome it. And I think we're doing a good job now, even though that a second wave is most likely incoming here in Western Europe. If everyone is a bit COVID fatigued, but we do understand that we have to, well, work from home and accept the situation as is. But we're behind our computers, so videos are a very good means to an end. So for me personally, yes, this will continue. And in terms of adapting, yeah, just one step at a time. I think we just need to keep thinking logically and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, I would like to first of all wish Shleep the best, and you as well. Congratulations again on becoming a father
Thank you, Pranav.
to a girl, and I hope she's blessed with abundance of health, and you're blessed with abundance of health and wealth as well.
Thank you,
Thank
Pranav.
you
I
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking time out and coming and joining me on the podcast on Mado Videos.
No, you
So
got
with
it.
that,
I'm happy that I could join, and I think you guys are creating awesome content. Keep doing what you're doing because I really enjoyed it, and I think many others will do as well.
awesome. I hope we can collaborate sometime in the future with the brand as well. Uh, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the people who are watching. Uh, this has been an amazing episode. Personally, for me, I've been wanting to bring Michael on the podcast for a while, and we finally made it right. Uh, Hope to bring in a new guest every other day at least, or if not every day. And signing off for now, but we'll be back with another guest, another episode. Stay tuned till then. Awesome. Bye.
Bye.